I'd next like to welcome to the stage for our final presentation before dinner, so you we'll go one more before dinner, Dave Cote, who will present the Owen B. Butler Education Award. Dave is the 2012 recipient of the Peter G. Peterson Business Statesmanship Award, so Dave has been here before and a long-time supporter of CED. The Butler Award is named for Brad Butler, who's the former CEO of Procter & Gamble and the former chairman of CED. Dave's been CEO of Honeywell, as everybody knows, since 2002. It's now a $40 billion company. Outside of Honeywell, Dave's a director of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, the vice chair of the Business Roundtable, has been a member of the Simpson-Bowles Commission, and last year was named the winner of the Horatio Alger Award. Dave, we could go on all night about you, but you're here to introduce somebody else. Welcome, Dave Cote.
So, given Glenn Hutchins graduated from Harvard undergrad, Harvard Business School, and Harvard Law, and married Debbie, a graduate of Vassar, you may think he's receiving the Owen Butler Excellence in Education Award for his own personal education. But that's not it. Glenn and Debbie are always focused on advancing quality education through the Hutchins Foundation. Their foundation supports the Hutchins Center for African and African American Research at Harvard, of course, the Hutchins Center for Fiscal and Monetary Policy at Brookings, the Hutchins Scholar Program at Lawrenceville School, the Hutchins Family Challenge Fund for House Renewal at Harvard, of course, and the Posse Veterans Program at Vassar. Now, Glenn did very well for himself as a co-founder of Silver Lake, a global leader in technology investments. And many of those investments you've probably read about in the paper and didn't even realize it was Glenn. CED could not have picked a better recipient for the Owen Butler Award, but it's not just for the kind of stuff we talked about. It's because you have picked a fundamentally good guy, which is very high praise coming from a New Hampshire native like me. I met Glenn about 5 years ago, and since then, I've learned to really like this guy. So let me tell you a little bit about my friend, Glenn. He has numerous friends from high school and college that are as important to him today as they were then. If you put Glenn in a crowd of people he doesn't know, within an hour, they are all his friends. And he just has such a way of introducing himself. So about 3 years ago, I'm with Glenn at a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden. We're standing in line at the elevator behind this huge man. He's about 6 feet, 8 inches tall with shoulders that are about the same width. So we look at each other a little quizzically. Then Glenn reaches up and just taps the guy on the shoulder. When he turns around and looks at us, and he wasn't exactly smiling when he did, Glenn points at me and says, "This is Dave Cote. He's the CEO of Honeywell." "I'm Glenn Hutchins. I'm a part owner of the Boston Celtics." "Who are you?" Now, totally taken aback, this guy, who's more than a little bit flustered at that point, says, "Well, I'm Charles Oakley. I was a power forward for the New York Knicks." And we spent the next 5 minutes in a really fun conversation about NBA basketball. That's Glenn. Now, all of us have friends who are good people, but they really don't want to do all that much. That's not Glenn. You want to go fishing? Glenn will go. You want to play golf? Glenn will play. You're having a party? Glenn will definitely come. Said another way, Glenn is fun. He's just plain fun to hang around with. And when you're hanging with Glenn, you're going to laugh and you're going to learn a lot, because whatever topic you're talking about, he probably literally just Googled it. And from economics to the NBA, he is now my personal Wikipedia. And in a fun way, he doesn't mind sharing everything he knows. He can appreciate how far he has come when he does get recognized. 2 years ago, he was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Founded in 1780, it counts as members George Washington, Ben Franklin, Daniel Webster, Albert Einstein, and Winston Churchill. That's not a bad bunch to be hanging around with, even if it's historically. In his acceptance speech, Glenn explained how he felt he didn't deserve to be there. Now, the thing is, we all know he did, and that's just the kind of down-to-earth guy he is. So the CED has made a very deserving selection for the Owen Butler Award. And I'm reminded of a discussion with Glenn a couple years back where he said that the risk that Maureen and I had was that once we entered the Hutchins circle of friends, it was permanent. You couldn't leave. Well, Glenn, Debbie, I can tell you that Maureen and I have no desire to ever go. So congratulations and thanks for being our friends.
I want to thank my pal, Dave Cote. I think I quoted Pete Peterson for those overly generous words. In addition to being a world-class CEO, by the way, Dave has nearly tripled the value of Honeywell while he's been the CEO of the company. He's a great human being in all dimensions. One can have no better friend than a guy like Dave Cote. Thank you, my friend. By the way, Pete, you remember that Dave took up the banner of Save the Debt and really did a huge service to our country, very much in the tradition that Pete talked about earlier, and that's the example of the kind of guy he is. Well done, my friend. I also want to offer my praise to the Committee on Economic Development and its team led by Steve Odland. You should be, the whole team here should be really proud about how you've deepened and extended the CED's long and very distinguished track record of service to our nation. It's a great honor for me to be a part of this organization tonight. I also want to thank out for special thanks my pals who are here tonight, and you can't get out either, Maggie Wolderotter and Roger Ferguson. Roger, I knew you were around there, but Roger right there. They're both there, the current and former co-chairs. Together with their current co-chair, Carl Camden, you guys have just done a terrific job with this organization. I want to say that any organization led by such able and public-spirited people as those two is for sure a world-class place. And it's a real honor for me to be a part of this tonight. I also want to compliment tonight's other honorees. While it is, as I say, Dave, unclear why I am standing here, it is obvious that their track records in business and public service are unparalleled and merit their highest praise. I just want to say how honored I am to be here, part of you tonight. I'm also especially humbled to be here tonight with my old boss, Pete Peterson, from whom I learned so much over the years. And speaking of learning, I'm especially touched tonight to receive the Educational Excellence Award because education is so important to my wife, Debbie, and me. Debbie is the daughter of a college professor who immigrated from China in the late 40s and built a life here in the United States as an educator. She and I have experienced firsthand how our educations were the path to both our success in life, but especially our happiness in the lives that we've lived together. Also, as a technology investor, I am in the business of building companies around intellectual property. Two of them are represented here tonight, NASDAQ and SunGard. We have important people from those organizations here. And that is about intellectual property in technology business is essentially the outcome of advanced research in such fields as math and physical sciences, which of course rests squarely on the shoulders of our nation's education system. It is no coincidence as a result of that Debbie and I have focused our philanthropy in very large part on education, as Dave pointed out. But I want to celebrate two very different kinds of organizations here tonight that I've had an opportunity to be a part of that show exactly how education can be made central to the world in which we live. The first is the AT&T company. There's a table of AT&T executives here somewhere tonight. Where are you guys? Way in the back there, bravo. And I'm on the board of AT&T, so I'm a colleague of theirs. This is an organization that's deeply committed to its educational mission. Internally, AT&T University offers 10,000 courses, 10,000 courses for skills training across their organization, and they've educated over 100,000 managers inside the business as they transition the company from being a traditional company from hardware to software, from wireless to wireline to wireless, from connectivity to services and content. But also externally, AT&T offers tuition reimbursement to 10,000 employees per year who take graduate training and undergraduate degrees in technology. They also have a program called AT&T Aspire, which is a 5-year, get this, $350 million program that addresses the crisis in high school dropouts and prepares K through 12 students for the modern world. That is what business can do, and it's what business does when our political leaders and our political systems fail. And I can't tell you how proud I am of what the AT&T folks have done. I hold them up as an example of what other companies like Honeywell have done, companies like SunGard, companies like DASDAQ, other people in the room. That's why I'm very, very proud to be part of the American business community. Finally, there's a different group here tonight, and I want to acknowledge them because they are the true heroes in the field of education. They're a group of principals and educators, here are our guests tonight, from public and charter schools in New York City that are operated by New Visions for Public Schools. I don't know if people in this room are familiar with New Visions for Public Schools, but since 1993, New Visions has created 134 New York City public schools, as well as 7 charter schools. They educate more than 47,000 students in under-resourced neighborhoods in all 5 boroughs in the city. In addition to running schools, they also train teachers and develop cutting-edge curricula, which are tuned to today's educational challenges, particularly in literacy and math, and as well as the needs of the modern workplace. New York Visions today, Bob Hughes, the CEO, is right here. We'll get to you in a minute. Hang on. Serves 20% of New York City's students. Did you realize that organization existed? And that's roughly equal to the size of the entire Seattle school system. They boast an average graduation rate of nearly 73%, which is a full 7 percentage points above the city-wide average. I want to ask them to stand so we can give them our applause. Now, come on, guys, stand up. Everyone. Come on, everybody stand up here. That's what education is all about, what people like you do. Thank you very much for your commitment. In conclusion, I found online today the New York Times obituary for Owen Butler, for whom this award is named, and who had a very distinguished career as the chairman and CEO of Procter & Gamble. But the centerpiece of his remembrance was his service to the Committee for Economic Development, and in particular his work in education. That is a life we should all aspire to. Thank you.